We need to talk about this video. Watch this.
I need y'all to pay attention to this crypto bill moving through Congress.
And she's exactly right. We do need to be paying attention to the Clarity Act that's moving through Congress. What she does is summarize the four things that Democrats should be concerned about. Here they are.
Stronger anti money laundering rules, stronger consumer protections, stronger ethics safeguards, and no special treatment for crypto just because the industry has money and access.
Okay, here's the Clarity Act. Let's break those issues down. First, AML. On page 383 of the PDF version of the Clarity Act, you will see Title II, which is entitled Protecting Against Illicit Finance. This title covers anti-money laundering, and it requires that covered digital asset firms maintain an anti-money laundering program, a Know Your Customer program. They have to monitor and report suspicious activity. They have to keep transaction records and comply with U.S. sanctions. So the conversation should start here. What is it specifically that Democrats should be concerned about? The next issue raised is consumer protection. On page 378 of the Clarity Act, you will see provisions for consumer and investor consumer protection provisions, which preserves legal rights to fraud, deceit, unfair or deceptive practices, claims under consumer protection laws, and claims under criminal law. It also preserves regulatory authority under the Commodities and Exchange Act, the Securities Act of 1933, Securities and Exchange Act of 1934, Investment Advisors Act, State Commodities Law, and Consumer Financial Protection Law. So again, the question would be, what additional consumer protection should be provided under the Clarity Act? The third issue raised is an ethics clause that would prohibit elected officials and their families from profiting off of industries that they regulate. And everyone would agree with this prohibition, but it needs to be applied consistently. Right now, elected officials are governed by the Stock Act of 2012, which does not prohibit them from owning stocks. It requires that those stocks are disclosed. So while we all support that prohibition, it does need to be applied consistently. The fourth issue is a concern about crypto companies having special treatment because they have money and access in Washington, D.C. It's important that we recognize that in 2026 alone, in the first quarter, banks have posted profits of $80 billion. That's 15 times the profits of Walmart. And banks are using the deposits of everyday people to earn those profits, while everyday people rarely make interest off of their accounts. And it is the banks who have rushed to Washington to prevent any type of interest being paid on stablecoins. And banks have had decades and decades of institutional advantage and networks in politics. And so it's important that we have a balanced conversation about money and access in Washington, D.C. This is an opportunity for us to have a real conversation, a dialogue about the importance of digital assets and the Clarity Act. So I welcome your thoughts and your questions in the comments.